Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500 and welcome back to the last day on Project Peanut. Today is MOT day. Fingers crossed it's going to pass. We're not sure about those tyres, not sure about the little chip in the windscreen, not sure about that handbrake cable, but we can but try. So hopefully the last video, last day, and the car will be done and we can get it sold to my neighbours. So let's go, last day on Project Peanut. Over a week has passed, week and a half, something like that. Today is MOT day, and I've had a thought, just in case that is going to fail the MOT with that handbrake cable. I thought I'm going to get underneath and see if there's anything I can do with it. What I'm going to try and do is move the brackets, the ones that are either side of where the snapped one is, and see if we can sort of pull some slack through so it pulls it up taut. So it's not a lot, and it wouldn't take very much, and I just want to do it so it's sort of not noticeable, really. I don't think that would fail it, because bearing in mind that must have been like that, unless it's all of a sudden failed, it was probably like that when it was MOT'd in March. So, you know, it was only, what, 3 months ago. And, you know, I've had it for over a month now, so, you know, within that couple of months, it could have failed, I suppose, at that point, but I think it's probably was like that then, and it wasn't picked up on the MOT at all. So I would have expected it potentially to have been an advisory, but it wasn't. So I want to try and see if I can do that. So if I can alleviate it failing the MOT, obviously I want to do that. Unfortunately, I've been let down by the windscreen guy. He was meant to come this week, and he hasn't. So it's obviously it will be an advisory for that chip in the windscreen, which is a bit of a nuisance, but still get it done anyway. Some of you have mentioned on the last video on this car about the cam belt, and you know what, I think I will get it done, I think, but I am going to speak to my neighbour. Unfortunately, he's just come out of hospital, we just had an operation, so I'm going to leave it. Obviously it depends on whether this passes the MOT today, because if it does, to all intents and purposes it's ready to go, apart from the windscreen bit. But I'm going to have a chat with him and say to him, look, if you want to have the car now, you know, if you want to at some point, if you want the car now, I'll pay for the cam belt, but he's going to pay me $2.5 grand. I'm not going to drop the price. Or if he wants to take it, get it done later, I'll pay for it. It's up to him. I'll leave it up to him. Or if he says, no, I'd rather it be done before we have it, then I'll say, fine, I'll get it done. But, you know, with my mechanic, I could potentially wait a week and a half, 2 weeks before he's available to come and do it. But we'll see. Anyway, that's pie in the sky at the moment, because it obviously depends on whether it passes the MOT. I bought a new exhaust hanger. Bearing in mind I get my MOTs done at my local Quick Fit, I am going to, if this doesn't do the trick, I'm going to ask them to have a look at it and try and secure it a bit better. Whatever they need to do to get it to be secure so it doesn't bang on the bottom. It's not much, but it mainly does it when it starts. But if you go over a really big bump, you can hear it. Also tracking needs doing as well, so I'll get them to do that as well, because the company I used to use, Tyre Pros, has now closed down. As I think I mentioned before, when I went down there, it was all skip outside and all the chairs are in the car park and so on and so forth. They've gone, which is a shame. So I'll get it done at Quick Fit at the same time. So it's up on ramps, as you can see. I'm not going to get the camera under there, but I'm just going to have a look and see if I can get that clamp done on that handbrake cable. So I will be back. Oh, it's so sunny, lovely and warm today. 24.5 degrees it was in the car. So the car is currently in Quick Fit. MOT has been done. I've just checked online. It's passed. One advisory. Not an advisory that I was expecting. The advisory is slight misting on rear axle. Slight oil misting on rear axle. You know what that is? That's the stuff I've sprayed on. It doesn't dry completely. And I reckon that's what they think it is. No mention of the chip on the windscreen, and no mention of the tyres, and no mention of the what was the other thing? Oh, the cable, wasn't it? The handbrake cable. No mention of that. So that obviously wasn't an issue. Strange that they haven't even mentioned the chip on the windscreen. I mean, it is tiny. Maybe they didn't even notice it. I guess they didn't. Otherwise, they would have put it on there. But yeah, car is still there at the moment because when I was driving down, the aircon wasn't very cold. So when they rang me, as they always do, and said, "You do know this was only MOT'd in March, don't you?" Because I forgot to tell them. I said, "Look, while you got it, can you stick it on the aircon machine as well and do that? I know it's going to cost me more than double what I normally pay, but it saves me having to mess around going to the bloke one evening." So they're doing that. And the exhaust thing, I tried the exhaust thing. I managed to get the old one off. And the bits where it goes in, where there's two, where there's one either side, they were both completely split, so it was hanging lower, so therefore it was doing this. Took it off. I could not for the life of me get the new one on. Just couldn't do it. I could only get one on, one out of the three on. So if I'd taken that was from underneath, if I'd taken the back bumper off, I could have done it, but it's just impossible. Well, I found it impossible. So you thought, well, you know what, it's going there anyway. If I wasn't going there anyway, I would have taken the back bumper off and done it. But as it was going there anyway, I just phoned them up and said, "Look, I've got this issue. It's banging. The rubber's perished on it. Can you sort it out for me?" He said, "Yeah, bring it down early. We'll stick it on the ramp and see what we can do." They've obviously done that. When he phoned me, I asked, and he said, "Yeah, we sorted that for you." So I presume they put a new hanger on. So we'll see what the bill is. So we'll have a bill for that, and we'll have a bill for the gas, which I think is like 65, 68 quid. So it is a lot more than I normally pay. I normally pay 30, but it just gets it done, doesn't it? So when I get it back, I'm just waiting on the phone call to go and get it. And apart from that cam belt and a bit of another clean on the outside, it'll be ready to go. So I'll send my neighbour a message later and say, explain about the cam belt and say, "Look, car's ready now if you want it." Obviously, I do still need to get that chip done, even though it's not come up on the MOT. I still need to get that done, really. So I'll have to either go somewhere else or give that bloke a call and see if he can come weekend next week or something like that. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll come back once we get the car back, and then we'll go from there. So I'll see you in a bit. Right, we're back from the MOT. It's all done. As I said, no mention of the tyres, no mention of the chip in the windscreen. Yeah, strange that they never. I mean, it is tiny. But even so, I'm surprised they didn't. It was on the last MOT. One thing he did say, I think it was, he said the driver's side, the headlight bulb was in upside down, so it was displaying the wrong pattern. So he's changed it for me, but he said it's not clipping in properly. So he said I've got it in enough to pass the MOT, but I'll have to look at that. So if the little tab is broken on it, then I might have to cut a new one in. But yeah, we'll see. Not necessarily, we'll see. But yeah, let's just go back down the driveway and tell you a little bit more about it. Yeah, it's still a lovely day, even though I just had to go down and pick that up at school chucking out time. And I'm sure I wasn't such a horrible child when I was 13, 14. Actually, I probably was, to be honest. But yeah, that was a nightmare on the bus, absolute nightmare. But it's done. One thing, he didn't charge me for doing the exhaust. He said he had 3 in stock. He said so he just put one on as a courtesy for me. I go there quite a lot, don't I? So that was very nice of him. Only problem is the knocking's still there. So it didn't need doing that thing, but I think it's just too high. I have had that once before, and I can't remember how I got around it, even if I did get around it. But it is the wrong exhaust on it, although only because it's a pop exhaust and not a lounge exhaust. So I'm not changing the exhaust. So come next week, I can't do it now because the exhaust is hot, but come next week I'll get it back up on the ramps again and we'll get under and see if there's something we can do with it. Potentially even just to pad it out a little bit so it's not knocking metal to metal. It doesn't do it all the time, so it does it when you start it, and if when you're pulling away you don't have enough ref, so that's that type of thing, it will do it as well. Doesn't tend to do it over bumps, but it is annoying. It is annoying, and I need to get rid of it one way or the other. So we'll have a little look at that tomorrow. Not tomorrow, next week. And as I say, we'll have a look at that headlight, and maybe I've probably got a spare. We might have to cut the wires and join the wires and sort that out. Yeah. Apart from that, it's all good to go. Aircon's done. It's nice and cold now. I do still need to get that chip done. I might actually do it myself. You know, I have got a kit to do it myself. I think I will, seeing as it wasn't even mentioned on the MOT. It is very, very small. I think I will do it myself. The tracking, it is so very, very slightly out. Whereas it should be there, it's about there. It is minute amount. I might not bother. I might not bother. It is such a tiny amount out. Yeah, I'll think about that one. Anyway, that's it for now. We'll be back next week, and we will have the final video on this. I've just seen my neighbour on the doorstep actually, although he's his wife on the doorstep, I should say, because he's probably in bed still. But actually, I need to go and see how he is. So yeah, I shall have a little chat with him over the weekend sometime, let them know it's done, or almost done, and assuming that they still want it. So yeah, I will see you next week, and we'll finish off. Right, okay, so a couple of things to do. I've got to try and figure out that bang on the number on the exhaust pipe. Don't know what the hell is going on with that. So as I say, they did it. I don't know why it's doing it. It's weird. I need to get it back up on ramps again and have a look underneath, see what's going on with it. Yeah, let's do that. I'll just go get the ramps and we'll get it up in the air and have a look. Clamber underneath yet again. Right. Okay, I think I found what is causing it. So it wasn't very much. It's just enough for it to hit it and make that noise. But what I've discovered is this hanger here, that there. Let me just put that torch up there, see if we can make it out. See that there? That looks like a weld. So I reckon that had snapped at some point and they welded it back together, and I reckon it should be longer, which would take that enough away to stop it banging. Now what I've done is I've stood on the end of the exhaust tip a few times, and it seems to be enough to have done it. I didn't want to go mad because I didn't want to end up snapping something, but it seems all right. Yeah, I think so. Only time will tell. I started it up and it's not doing it, so we need to take it for a bit of a drive. But I think what we'll do, if when I sell it, if someone comes back, whether it be my neighbour or not, if someone comes back and says that it's knocking, I'll say I'll put a new exhaust on it for you. Can't be fairer than that, I suppose. Right, I've just given it a quick clean. Black the tyres up tomorrow. All I've got to do really is just chase up the service history now and then stamp that up. Obviously I serviced it as well, so I just need to do all that, and then I shall let my neighbour know that it's ready. But I do want to take it out for a drive, make sure that exhaust is okay. Otherwise I'm going to get a new exhaust and put it on it. I think that's the only way around it. I don't think it's the wrong exhaust anyway, isn't it? But I don't think anything else is going to do the job. So I don't want to have to spend another, they're probably about 80 quid I think. So I don't really want to spend another 80 quid doing that, but I don't think there's any way around it if it's still doing it. But I'm quietly confident that it's all right. We shall see. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. We'll have a look, see what we've got service history wise, and then hopefully be ready to go. Right, okay, another few days has passed. Car is effectively done. My neighbour is coming round this afternoon, or his wife is, to have a test drive, and I told him it was done. I got in it this morning to move it down here because I think I mentioned about the light bulb, didn't I? So I'm going to just check the headlight bulb just to make sure it's well, he said it was, he thinks it was broken, it wasn't going in properly, so I think he probably broke it when he changed the bulb, swapped the bulb round, because he said it was upside down. I'm not sure you could even put them in upside down, to be honest, but anyway, whatever he's done, I need to look at that. So I started it up and that bloody rattle is still there on that exhaust pipe, and bearing in mind I took it out for a drive last week and it was fine. So I'm going to get it up on ramps yet again and have yet another look. It hasn't had a twin come to visit it. That's the one you often see in the background. Now if you look at the exhaust there, I'm not sure if it looks a bit low. So if it was a bit low at the back, that would potentially push the middle up, possibly. I don't know. But bearing in mind that is a pop exhaust, I'm going to get it up on ramps again and have another look, because I'm also going to get those, if I've got any long enough, I'm going to get some cable ties around that cable. Some people, or at least one person mentioned on the weekend's video on this that they did it and it was fine for the MOT and so on. It's past the MOT like it anyway with it hanging down, so it's obviously we don't want to get caught on something and ripping it out. That would be disastrous. So I'm going to attempt to cable tie it out of the way. So I needed to get up in the air to do that anyway, but I'm going to have yet another look at that exhaust, see if I can do anything with it again. However, I have ordered a lounge exhaust, £78 on eBay, comes with 2 hangers and the bracket. So I think that's probably what we'll do, and hope that cures it. If whatever I attempt today doesn't, hope that cures it. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to have a little look. I'll let you know how I get on, and we'll be back. So this will be the last video of the car. Because it will be going potentially this week, depending on when that exhaust comes, if I need it. Anyway, yeah, see you in a bit. Right, I think I might have figured out what was causing it. That is the middle pipe, and it's a bit greasy. I don't want to touch it too much. It's lost its, or rather, it's a bit. I was going to say it's lost its I can't even say it. Elasticity, but it's a bit too elastic. And there's another point underneath where I think it was hitting. I'm trying to keep this bloody grease off me. Someone had greased that because I think it's more of a creak than anything else. Now I've left the grease on it, but I've put a new one on. Luckily I had one where I bought the wrong one before. Let me get underneath and have a look and show you what I mean. Yeah. Right, if I can. So there's the new one I've put on. You see it is at an angle. This piece is a bit bent, so I don't know whether that's been done by somebody because of that knocking. Now that seems a bit more stable. Now just there is a decent gap there, and there's not a lot of movement. I don't think it was there, but just here, if I can get the camera in here, just here was quite close. I mean, that's not moving up and down now. I've put that new rubber on, but I think it was hitting there. I don't think it was up the front. I mean, it was hitting up the front before, but I think it's also been hitting here, because you can see the little bit of, like, the dirt's come off and the paint's come off, or showing the paint rather. Now that's solid. That ain't moving. So I'm hoping that was it. I think it's just been, literally just been touching it. So if that's the case, then hopefully I've done it. So obviously we'll start it up and have a listen. Right, let's start it up. Need to clean these door cards as well, where they've got wet. They're all a bit stained. Make sure we're out of gear. Yep. Petrol low, that is, don't worry about that. Yeah, no rattle. No rattle. Right, hopefully that's done it. I've ordered that anyway. The exhaust pipe, and even if I don't use it on this, I'll use it on another car. Just saves me ordering one in the future. So let's get it off the ramps, and then we get that bulb done. We will take it for a spin, and of course the neighbour's going to be test driving it this afternoon anyway. So yeah, hopefully that sorted it. Considering there was very little to do on this car and it was going to be a quick turnaround, it's been a pain in the arse. So the car is not on the drive. The reason being that the day it was finished, and I had to change that bulb because of the MOT. And you know what? That bulb holder wasn't broken. It just wasn't in. And I think what the MOT tester had done, rather than taking the bulb out of the holder and putting it back in and then putting the connector back, he just turned the whole thing round. And of course it doesn't clip back in because it's got that little clip. So all I did was took the bulb out, turned the bulb round in the holder, and then put it back in, and it was fine. So yeah, I suppose, yeah, what can I say? The MOT tester obviously didn't realise that they have to go in one way. But that was done. But yeah, that was what I had to do last weekend. And I had a message from my neighbour on Sunday saying that his wife was hassling him about the car, and their daughter's hassling him about the car. There's 5 of them insured on that car now. And they've got it basically. So it was sold on Sunday. I delivered it from literally here to there. You can't, from there to there. I'll show you. Let me show you where it is. It's just parked in the road at the moment. If you can see, up there. Yeah. So yeah, 3 doors up. So yeah, they're happy with it. They're over the moon with it. One thing I did notice that when I saw them out the window driving off, there was no DRLs on. Now those DRLs were on. I'm wondering if the MOT tester turned them off. So I must message them and say, your DRLs aren't working. I can't remember if I covered this in the car, in this video actually, but you know, I put the funky stereo in. It won't connect. I spent ages trying to connect it wirelessly, Apple CarPlay, and it won't do it. It'll do it wired, but it won't do it wirelessly. Now I am waiting for another one to come, or another. I've ordered 5. 3 have been on the way for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they're not arriving. So I don't quite know what's happened with that. But I've ordered another 2 separately. No, another 3. Yeah. So at some point, one of them will come, and I'll have to swap it over. There's obviously a fault on it, and then that one will have to go back. But yeah, so the car is done and gone. So I sold it for 2,500. I can't remember what I made. 700, something like that. I think it was about 700. But they were more than happy. I would have sold it for a bit more than that had I sold it to anybody else. Because it was a neighbour, I let it go for 2.5. I don't think I told you about the cam belt, did I? I tracked down the service history, and the cam belt was done at 80,000 miles, I think it was, in December 2019. So what, 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago. So it didn't need doing, basically. I told him, it's in the service book. I told him, I said, look, maybe in about a year's time, 18 months' time, depending on the mileage and so on, so maybe get it done then. And he said, to be honest, it won't be doing very many miles, which I don't think it will. It's only a second car, and their daughter who's going off to uni is learning it and so on, and their 2 sons are going to drive it every now and again, but they won't be, none of them, the 3 kids have not got driving lessons, have not got licenses yet. I did actually see a learner car outside about 10 minutes ago, so I think the daughter is starting to learn today, potentially. But yeah, so I just said, get it done in about 18 months' time, which obviously I'll remind them nearer the time. But yeah, they are over the moon with it. I'm happy that it's done. I hope it's gone to a good home, and I'm going to keep seeing it because it's only a few doors up the road. That's it. Project finished. Only a short video, this one, and I thought it was going to be. Luckily, we got over those problems with the exhaust. By putting that new rubber on, that seems to have sorted it. Whether at some point, I did buy a new exhaust. I have got a new exhaust, but it doesn't need one. If at some point it all goes badly wrong, I'll stick that exhaust on it, but I don't think it will. I think it's fine now. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed Project Peanut. Quite a good one, I think. More work on it than I really wanted to do, or it took longer than I really wanted it to take, considering there was barely any damage to it. I've got one more blue bumper, so I'll be looking for another car. So I do have another one. Hopefully we can, it'll match next time. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and until the next one, as always, take care, stay safe, and we will see you soon.